and then be on that shit. You don't get on the national stage and say George Bush doesn't care about black people and then turn into that. You don't. Obviously something was wrong with the man, and we dropped the ball on that. Myself included. I crushed Kanye. But it took Pete Davidson, regrettably so, because I do like him, and I hadn't liked Kanye for some time, but I do like Pete Davidson, to see that look in his face from that post he made, and I felt it. I felt what he was feeling, because I've been there, and just despair. Like, you don't think life is going to change. This is it. This is what you're going to feel for the rest of your life. You guys that don't deal with depression don't understand. You can't just say, oh, just get over it. Oh, just be happy. It doesn't fucking work like that. It's literally a chemical imbalance in your brain that causes this. And there's not much you can do. We tried meds, but I think the best way to do is just be a good person. Now, a person like Pete Davidson, I'm sure, because he's in a game where he talks about people, as comedians do, you open yourself up to that ridicule being on a big stage like that. And if you're not ready for this game, man, you can't do it. But keep rocking. I'm fucking with you, Pete. I hope you're better. Like the likes of Mac Miller and Robin Williams and all these depression cases. Check on your friends, guys. Just call them. Just to say what's up. You don't even got to ask how you feeling. Just check on them. Just like, you want to go get coffee. Let's chill. Depression is very real. It's an awful thing. I've gotten better with it. I still struggle. But I'm great at coping now. And not everybody can say that. I don't need the pills anymore. I'm able, and just doing this podcast, going to school, chilling with my son. For those of you who are depressed, bury yourselves in things you love. That's the only thing I could say that helps me deal with it. Get outside of yourself. Take somebody out. Volunteer. Like, I volunteered to coach my city's Little League football and basketball team. And that helped. So if you're dealing with that, and also talk about it, be open. Tell people you're having a problem, and maybe they can help. And when they do tell you this, guys, that they're dealing with depression, they're sad, they feel like killing themselves, don't try to fix them. Listen. Let me say it again. Listen. Just be an ear. All right? Holidays are rough for people. Rough. All right. We got about 10 minutes here. I wanted to get to this. I was going to talk about Trump real quick. Shutting down the government because of the stupid ass wall. And that's about, Cohen has been sentenced to 3 years. I forget what happened to Manafort. But I'm sure you guys are keeping up. Also, Russian interference in the election, prompting black people not to vote. I'll try to cover all that stuff next episode. But yeah, that's what's going on in politics. It's time to impeach the guy. What can I say? And just so you know, that wall has raised $17 million, and Flint still doesn't have clean water. When you're looking through your holiday seasons and you're thinking about life, just keep that in mind. That's the people that we're dealing with. That's his fan base. So anyway, like I said, holidays are rough. And I'm sure some of you got your New Year's resolution. So I think it's important to say, and don't take this the wrong way, but you will fail. You will fail at your resolution. You will fail at life. You will fail a lot. Failure is not an option. It's inevitable. You will fail. But what's not inevitable is how you deal with that. Quitting is an option. So, having that been said, I'm going to give you a few ways to deal with failure today in your resolutions. Or in general, just in life in general. This is via verywellmind.com if you want to go check it out. So let's start with number 1. Embrace your emotions. Failure is accompanied by a variety of emotions: embarrassment, anxiety, anger, sadness, and shame, to name a few. Those feelings are uncomfortable, and many people will do anything they can to escape feeling emotional discomfort. Allowing yourself to feel bad is motivating. It can help you work harder to find better solutions. So yeah, and you know what? A lot of that's a mindfulness thing. And I identify as a Buddhist. It's really, people like to call it new agey, but no. Embrace your emotions. Allow yourself to feel despair. That way, one thing can happen. You know that feeling, and you know you don't want to feel it again, prompting you to work harder. And I don't want to say you get used to it, but you got to let it flow. It's like holding your breath. You got to breathe. So acknowledge your emotions and also acknowledge that they will pass. Sadness is fleeting, just like happiness. Number 2, recognize unhealthy attempts to reduce pain. You might be tempted to say, I didn't actually want that job anyway. But minimizing your pain won't make it go away. Distracting yourself or filling the void you feel with food or alcohol won't heal your pain either. Those things will only provide you with some temporary relief. Recognize the unhealthy ways you try to avoid or minimize pain in your life. Turning to coping skills that do more harm than good will only make your situation worse. I stress eat. When I'm stressed, and I know a lot of people deal with that. I know some personally. When I'm sad, angry, depressed, when I'm angry, I drink. When I'm sad or bored, I eat. And as far as smoking is concerned, I don't think that's a coping mechanism. Most people will say it is, but I just like to smoke. Everybody has their vice. Buff people like to work out. Nymphos love sex. People like TV. I don't know. I like weed. So I ain't counting that. But yeah, find healthy ways. And realize even a healthy way done to the extreme can be unhealthy. Number 3, practice healthy coping skills. We just said that, but this is what it says. Calling a friend, practicing deep breathing, that's a big one. Taking a bubble bath, going for a walk, or playing with your pet are just a few examples of healthy coping skills. Not every coping skill works for everyone. However, so it's important to find coping skills that will work for you. If you struggle with bad habits when you're stressed out, like smoking or eating junk food, create a list of healthy coping skills and hang it in a prominent place. Then use your list to remind you of the healthier strategies you can turn to when you're feeling bad. Straightforward. Healthy. And you know what it is. You know what healthy coping skills are. Give yourself more credit. Number 4, acknowledge irrational beliefs about failure. You may have developed some irrational beliefs about failure at some point in your life. Perhaps you think failure means you're bad or that you'll never succeed. Or maybe you think no one will like you if you fail. Those type of beliefs are inaccurate, and they can prevent you from doing things where you might fail. You have to take risk. And this irrational belief about failure will stop you from taking those risks. Like I said before I got into this, you're going to fail. It's going to happen. But that doesn't mean you're going to fail at everything. Keep pushing. All right? Number 5, develop realistic thoughts about failure. A 2010 study published in Appetite found that people were more likely to sabotage themselves when they were convinced a mistake made them a total failure. Again, not a healthy coping mechanism. Sorry, guys. When you find yourself thinking that you're a hopeless cause or that there's no use in trying again, reframe your thoughts. Remind yourself of more realistic thoughts about failure, such as, I can handle failure. I can learn from my failures. Failure is a sign that I'm challenging myself to do something difficult. And sometimes I just say, hey, I tried. I'm even happy to be here, especially with this podcast. When I first started it, I got maybe 5 listens each episode. Now, I'm not nowhere where I need to be, but I kept at it. I'm 30 in. And right now, I'm happy. Also, framing your own subjective thoughts of success. Meaning, don't focus on what somebody else what success means to them. Focus on your own path. We all have different paths. 6. All right, got 4 minutes left. Let's move. Accept an appropriate level of responsibility. It's important to accept an accurate level of responsibility for your failure. Taking on too much responsibility may cause you to unnecessarily blame yourself. On the other hand, blaming other people or unfortunate circumstances on your failure will prevent you from learning from it. Each loss, there's a lesson there, man. Take your responsibility. Research famous failures. This is a big one. And the one I keep going to, I won't read it, but the one I keep going to is Tyler Perry. This man was like writing Medea and living in his car. I think Tiffany Haddish was living in her car right outside of Kevin Hart's house or neighborhood or something like that. You're going to make it. You just have to believe you are. And there are plenty other ones, like they mentioned Thomas Edison, Walt Disney. But yeah, like I said, you're going to fail. Just keep going. Ask yourself what you can learn is number 8. Number 9, create a plan for moving forward. And number 10, face your fear of failure. So those are, I'm sure I don't have time to sift through all those, but one last thing from this article. Sometimes failure becomes debilitating. If you're struggling to function after you failed at something, consider seeking professional help. Nothing wrong with that, guys. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. When you break a leg, you go to the doctor. You don't say, I'm embarrassed. If your brain it's an organ. All right? Whether you experienced a failed marriage or you failed in business, talking to a mental health professional can assist you in bouncing back. So those are 10 ways to deal with failure. And as you have your plans for your new year, new me, new this, new all that, don't let anybody bring you down. That's the last thing I'm going to say. Get away from toxic people. I was in a very toxic situation. Not too long ago, a few days ago. And it took that extremely toxic situation for me to realize that I need to rid myself of toxic people. Don't get me wrong. I can be very toxic. I know for a fact I have toxic ways. And people may remove me from their life. But as you embark on this journey that is 2019, you have so many plans for yourself. I want to see you succeed. I want to hear success stories. Get rid of that toxicity. Get rid of it. Get rid of bad habits. More importantly, bad people. You know who they are. They're not going to change. Don't enable them. And don't feel bad when you've moved on. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know it's hard. But you deserve better. Be the light that you know you are. Assist and help where you can. And steer clear of that toxic behavior. Get those people out of your life immediately. You will see a change, I promise you. Alright guys, this has been episode 30 of the Hotbox. Thanks for being with me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Have a lot of sex, smoke a lot of weed, meditate more. Peace and love, Universians. Love ya.